Well, would you look at that? Cat in the Hat is back.
Welcome back to the Institute.
Oh, I feel so welcome back, thank you. As per usual, always the loudest possible note. Do I prefer this over the mini trailer before a trailer? I don't know what my decision is there. Either way, ow, my ear canal. This is an animated movie that got delayed a little bit ago, purportedly to avoid competition with Pixar's Hoppers and to be more on a lucrative holiday slot. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but either way, it's still going. And to be honest, I think that's good to see. I think this is a nice, succinct looking animated movie, which I think visually has its own identity, and just seems like a nice fun romp with Bill Hader as a cat in a hat, sometimes.
Yeah, that is you.
I don't remember being particularly high praising of it the first time the trailer came around. It seemed like just a nice time filler, but I was a little disappointed to hear it had been delayed. I don't want a movie to be in development hell by any means, and maybe with a little bit more time, it can be more impressive.
Every one of your assignments is a disaster.
I don't have much to say on the plot yet, but I'm liking, the visual choices. There's some nice gags going on, and I like this color palette. Because we're in a flashback, it's all black and white? Or is it just that's how dreary this house is? Either way, it is a choice. It's a stylization. It's Warner Brothers. They don't usually do style points, but I can give them praises for this. I like this animation. Having now had a second impression on what is apparently the third trailer now, I gotta be honest, my takes are kind of exactly the same. I think this was just delayed for the timing slot and not for rewriting or reanimating by any means.
Nailed it.
I'm less convinced on some of the dialogue, I'm gonna be honest. From what I can remember with the first trailer, I think I did like most of those lines. You know, it had a pop culture song in the middle of it, sure, but it had a good bit about visual gags. It was great. Opening the crate, a million warnings, nice. The line of the different types of cats in the hats, like fish in a dish, whatever the hell the others were. The nailed it feels a little, I want to say millennial. You know what I mean? The youngest millennials are 28 now. I'm not asking for full 6-7 lines. I'm going to roll my eyes if they did it in the other direction. But even still, so far only mid is what I'm reading out of this. It certainly doesn't look any different. But what it does look like is a nice animated visual treat, as we're going to be seeing a lot more of the Cat in the Hat universe in this story that's going on an original twang for the original books.
Help me find the go-backer. I'll help you go back and undo your move.
Interesting premise. This whole thing is based on the go-backer, the do-backer? That's interesting. Is this what was in the books? I don't think so, right? I assume the live-action movie where it's just, here's a crate full of stuff, it gets weird, is the usual storyline. I mean, this is already, we know it's going to come off of Thing 1 and Thing 2. So it is an original spin? Interesting that for your first readaptation, we immediately dive into time travel. Always the best topic to run with a good, consistent storyline. But I don't know, I think it does feel kind of Cat in the Hat-y. I think it works in its wonderful ways. You know, the super fast cleanup is very in-universe. Yeah, it's an interesting spin. I like it so far. It is interesting that they're taking things in an original direction. Is that really an adaptation at this point? Are they just running with someone else's IP? Can they actually pull it off and make a Dr. Seuss classic, but anew? To be honest, I think this is going to be a middling of the road kind of movie. So many of the reactions you're going to see in this video as we go back to it will end with me just kind of going,
Bring Cat in the Hat to the boss's office right away.
That's nice. A little visual gag. He wasn't radioing at all. He was just in the TV. Fun, nice. Exactly the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a hat in a cat, excuse me, adaptation. Yeah, I like it. Standard, medium, thumbs up. I think the jokes are not the best we've seen, but they're also not the worst we've seen. The storyline, the delivery, the narration, the whatever. Yeah, good, classic, safe maybe would be a good term to call it, as much as it does go in an original direction. We already knew that Thing 1 and Thing 2 aren't going to be the thing in this movie. It's Thing 3 to 37 or something, and that's nice. It's nice to see some originality.
Lose your stripes.
Is that my hat? I'm just a...
Oh, okay, wow. Is it the hat that gives you cartoony sentience? That's crazy. Just like the hay fever today, absolutely wrecking my eyes. It's fun though. Classic stakes, you know. One last job or you lose your job. Okay, cool. As per usual, this is a Dr. Seuss adaptation. Not a lot of pages to go off of. They're gonna go off and make some stuff up. And considering this is the alternative to a shameless Universal Studios plug and a whole bunch of overly sexualized gags in a kids movie, maybe this is the better alternative. Oh, okay, he never turns into a cat. The consciousness hat thing, just too big of a concept to deal with, but still, you know, fun. Again, a lot of this I think I'm just like, that's kind of the review I've got so far. as a second impression. Whilst at the same time, this just doesn't blow me away very much. I think one of the biggest highlights that comes with the Cat in the Hat brand is the ability to tell interesting visual gags, and thankfully, I think that is this movie's so far biggest strength. All of the best parts that we've seen in the marketing so far is a visual humor bit. Yeah, nice. I like the occasional things where, like, we go into handy cam mode, like him trying to come out of the hole is nice. I could see cinematographically what they're doing slightly, but it wasn't that strong. I guess they put more of it into the spray can in the eyes thing. Pepper spray, I forgot what that is. And I've already seen that from the initial trailer before it was delayed, so... But good, more of that thumbs up that I keep saying. Both in the previous trailer and in this one, there are jokes I genuinely have never seen before.
Forgot I had a bomb in my hat.
Huh. That should have rhymed really, man. Like, you should have been like, a bomb in my... Mom? That's horrible. But you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, I feel like any kind of line delivery could have been different there. I don't know if that... What can you do? But otherwise, the idea of exploring through the Cat in the Hat universe, that's way more interesting than the droll real life. Even though isn't the topic of Cat in the Hat meant to be like you're supposed to appreciate what you do actually have? But I guess it will still loop back to it, but there is something interesting that it's not about making the real world better. It's about, let's go to the old world, and then realize we don't want it. It's visually more interesting, I get it. But they also don't blow me away. They're good, they're fine. It seems like a nice palatable thing to show your kids.
I want to see what happens to Carmela.
The baby is yours.
Hey there! Thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie trailers. We'll keep up with Warner Brothers, who don't pop up very much. Usually they're covering Coyote vs. Acme, and then killing it. Even still, I'll probably do a review on this come round to November. So come subscribe if you're interested in that. And now to the second half of this video.
I want to see what happens to Carmela.
Carmela, the baby is yours.
Yeah, it's once again another one of those. Yeah. They can't all be winners. This is the best we can ask out of modern day Warner Brothers. These are the same people that made Space Jam 2 and Scoob, and also they cancelled Coyote vs. Acme. You know what I mean? This is what we're dealing with. Of course, my only real other exposure to Cat in the Hat is the god-awful live-action movie that for some reason I watched a bunch on repeat when I went to sleep, so I have the whole thing sucked in my long-term memory. Love that. In comparison to that, this is a damn saint of a movie. The closest thing to a criticism I had was the color choice of the children not being as stark.
I know this is hard, but this is home.
You know, I kind of forgot that there was like a human family side of the Cat in the Hat story. I got lost into the world for a second there. I was like, whoa, this isn't interesting. A new story? No, that's how it was before. I just somehow forgot since then. Though I will say the color palettes aren't as standy-outy. I know it's meant to be black and white, you know, depressive era of their lives. But I remember the live action kids. That was some bright orange and purple, pink. Bit more noticeable on the character design, but, you know, it's the only praise I'll give that movie, probably. So considering the fact we have the live-action movie that killed Dr. Seuss live-action movies to compare this to, this is a massive step above and beyond what would otherwise be that alternative. And though it's not really seeming to push any boundaries, I do think some of the directions it chooses to take is interesting.
With this go-backer. And then we just go back and undo it.
I would have been an absolute menace had I had that as a kid. I'm the kind of kid who tried to run on water after watching The Incredibles the first time. You give me the ability to undo, to control Z in real life. 6-year-old me was going to go off on one. What a joy to parents everywhere that I didn't have that in the real world. Making it a time travel plot seems a little daring. It's the least safe part about it. But the general overview of that idea that clearly still seems to loop back to the core message of being grateful for what you have in the real world, I can see it coming to, even if it goes the complete opposite direction of the live action to do it.
Change isn't easy, but this is a chance to make new memories.
Yeah, nice, a classic. I can see it all coming together. It's visually very nice though. I love the actual color scheming they've got where rooms seem to have dedicated color palettes and like it's, you know, it's visually colorful. That's somehow a big ask sometimes. It seems to be heaped in the logic of Cat in the Hat as if someone truly does understand the wackiness of the brand, as much as it does sound a little familiar in places.
It's a world made up entirely of your memories.
Oh no, that's not a good sign, Cat in the Hat. We don't need to be recreating things based off people's memories. You know, I saw a movie recently that had that kind of vibe covered, and considering it seems like a lot of the Cat in the Hat universe feels like just a bunch of abstract liminal spaces, this is not a good sign for a kids movie. Although actually a more colorful, cartoony, kiddie version of the Backrooms would be visually very interesting. I guess it's just that one suburbs biome is what I'm thinking of here. Anyway, what a weird one. What an interesting overlap. What an accident. But while some of the jokes certainly didn't land for me, to some extent, I can't really say that this is anywhere close to a terrible movie on first impression just yet. It's Bill Hader doing his Bill Hader things. There's a million jokes you can read in the background that I'm now actually able to notice now that I'm watching the trailer in repeat as I record this bit. And though a lot of times in response to this trailer, I only really had a muted response, I couldn't really dig much out of me if I tried. It's clear that there are times when it does step a little bit above. It's trying to do something to a certain extent, with varying degrees of success and failure. It's kind of the full scale we're seeing here.
The universe will be destroyed forever.
Oh yeah, and it has to have the end of the universe plotline, because of course it does. I was actually just about to praise like the animation style as well. It reminds me of this one short film that I covered back in the day. It's that same kind of like highlighter white animation style. Like the animation as always, absolutely incredible when it's made by a mainline studio. It always comes down to how well the narrative is and the actual direction. This seems very middle of the road so far, I may be honest, but visually, oh, what a treat for the eyes. But sometimes it does really stick the landing, and there are jokes I genuinely have never seen before, and I think are pretty good.
Try telling them to be quiet. That's actually offensive.
Hey, that's actually a good joke. It took the final part of the trailer to get to a joke that I liked a lot. Ish. Yeah, fun. It's always the visual humor, I think, that stands out the most in this. As always, the animation team always are the best parts of the movie. Arguably, that is something that was written down, sure. But you know what? I think that's fine and palatable. There have been a lot worse kids' movies coming out as of late, and certainly, unfortunately, a lot better. But to be middle of the road at these times by Warner Brothers of all people, yeah, this seems like a fun romp. I do feel like, though, as a person almost turning 30, that I'm gonna like the fish the most. I think that does really just say a lot about us. I think it's easy to fall into the critiquing side of life, considering the fact that this doesn't blow my mind in any ways, and we have had recent stellar animated movies not too long ago, Zootropolis 2, Inside Out 2, or if we're not talking twos, Mitchell's vs. Machines and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Also a sequel, never mind, oops. But this still looks to be a fun, vibrant movie with a distinctive artistic style, reminiscent of some damn good cinema, and seemingly at least having their heads screwed onto their shoulders right. That though it may not be perfect, it is a whole lot better than the usual stuff Warner Brothers are doing, especially when you realize that the best thing that's come out of them recently, they just completely scrapped for a time. Or they finished, someone else picked it up instead. Damn, but they did get rid of the bye line that I actually liked the most last trailer. That's like my favorite bit so far in the marketing. They skipped it and cut right to a pop culture song instead. What can you do? It's modern day Warner Brothers. Whatever the case, whilst it might not be my most anticipated movie of the year, I certainly know what I'm going to be doing come round early November 2026. Assuming it doesn't get delayed another chunk because, I don't know, GTA 6 is releasing that same month or something. No, that's just a void for video game releases, of course. Whatever the case, that's at least my take for the most part on all things Warner Brothers' new animated Cat in the Hat adaptation. But also, I guess, taking it in a different direction, so. On that note, I'd best finally end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts on Cat in the Hat. Have you changed since the last time you saw the trailer? You think this is actually an underrated goldmine that I haven't noticed I've seen cinema until I see it in cinemas? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more. But otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!